Where you start doesn't define you. Hard work matters, but the right guidance changes everything. This is the future. Human spirit meets AI coaching. Global 360 will take you from the streets and the fields to the stadium.
Afternoon, everybody. Hi. It's a pleasure being here. I'm going to make this 5-10 minutes of me talking and showing what we are working on. So, democratizing elite sports through deep learning is a big thing for me. Every child has the chance to train like a pro, unlocking their future where no one gets left behind. Global 360. There we are. Just a little bit of me. If you don't know me, if you're not into football or into sport or athletes or whatever, there's a little bit of my history, what I've been doing for 20 years in football, the World Cups and European Cups I've played, the clubs I've played for, and then from that onwards, I've studied at Harvard as well, which is a pleasure being there as well. So. Just a little snapshot of what I've been up to and what I'm getting into tech and to sport. So, what it takes to become an elite athlete. I mean, there's lots of things: cognitive, mental, behavior, teamwork, physical, ball control, the raising of your frequency, community. You need a community as well. So these are the lots of things that you need to kind of get you to the top. Or even if you want to get better at sports and football. So, odds. Obviously, they're stacked against you. 5 out of 10,000 players actually make it. There's 150,000 men and women who play registered in football in a proper club environment. But then you got 260 million men and women register footballers around the world. So there's a big market, and it's obviously against you if you're trying to make us a footballer or even a sports person, really. So 260 million, but coaches-wise, you've got one coach for 20 players. 5% of households can't afford private coaching, and roughly it's about $50, 45 minutes. So the chances are really scarce. It's a tough gig to kind of get there, but what we are building is something that we can kind of reduce and solve that challenge and help the probability of actually making it or just becoming really good at your sport. So you've got 1.6 billion children, 5 to 16. So there's a lot of people there, but 70% are in underserved areas, and 40% of those engage in grassroots football. So there's a lot of people wanting to play football out there around the world. So for me, one of the things I believe in is, when I truly know the language, I start dreaming in it, then it's a part of me. That's a big thing for me. I think a lot of people are missing the deep learning when it comes to coaching, and that is what I'm tapping into, that deep learning, harness that deep learning, drive, that consciousness, rewire actions, the habits to unlock innate talent within. So this is what it's all about. I think coaching needs to move on to the next level. And this is what we try to build, which we are building. So, you've got this here. You've got 40%. I need to bring the coaches in. I don't want to alienate them. I want to bring them into this business, this platform. So when you look at it, 40% of the time for coaches are spent just analyzing. That's 40%. Imagine if you reduce that and you have that kind of reduced kind of time and you gain the time to help to help the players. We want to remove all the noises and free every coach capacity to focus on their talent. This is what AI can do. So here, be seen, get scouted, learn from the legends 24/7, build your playbook, which is going to be a big thing. Stay connected with that community. All these sports need that big community feel about it. You need to be a part of something, not just on your own. Even though you've got a video, even though you've got this kind of platform helping you out, you still need that part of that community. And this is what we're building now. Different kind of pay structures to fit anybody, pay constraints and things like that. These are just the three kind of popular avenues that we're going to go down. Message encryption, that's a massive thing for me, because be able to kind of communicate on a safe platform is what really you want. And you can share with other players, other managers, other coaches, other scouts, part of your playbook, so they can understand you a bit better. So, market-wise, potential-wise, at the moment, you got 23 billion in sport tech. That rises up to about 117 billion, just under 10 years. Part of that, obviously, you've got the football, soccer, depending where you are around the world, whatever you're calling it. You've got 35 billion there, and you've got 500 million potential users, which is great. Then you drop down into who's using these kind of Androids and who's going to be using the technology to help. You've got 36%, Europe 27%, in North America, and Asia Pacific, you've got 18%, but that jumps up to 36%. So that's a big, big jump. The market's gigantic. Global 360 is going to be a part of it, and you can be a part of it as well. Just cross kind of looking at the team at the moment. It's a global team. We're building. We're looking to kind of add more experts in the right positions. That's what we're looking for. We're obviously looking for funding. We'll be closing the funding pretty soon. This is it. We want to reach out to 300,000 players. We've got 18 months finance. I think by 18 months, 2 years, should be able to get the 12 million back again by the investment around $10 million, roughly about 10% of the business. And just finishing up, this is the kind of places I've been talking about, this amazing platform which is being built now. If anyone else wants to have a question or Q&A, I think it's going to be after, but that's it for me. Thank you. Was I in time?
Can you hear me okay?
Was I in time?
You need some of this. It's hot up here.
It's hot there, yeah.
Please join us for more in-depth Q&A. It was fantastic and very impactful. I hope you all enjoyed it. So let's get to it.
Oh, it was nearly slid off the stage there. Well.
So we're going to have a very quick Q&A to start with 10 questions. And you're going to answer, you have a second to answer. Are we ready? Let's get this in.
That's hard for me.
Luck or hard work?
What?
Luck or hard work?
Knock or what?
Hard work. Luck, be lucky or hard work?
Hard work.
To inspire or to be inspired?
To be inspired.
Create impact or happiness?
Happiness.
Football or soccer?
Football for sure.
Real Madrid or FC Barcelona?
Who?
Real Madrid or FC Barcelona?
Neither.
Defense or offense?
Defense.
AI coach or human coach?
Both.
Well done. London or Valencia? Be careful.
Valencia, of course, there were beautiful weather and beautiful people, for sure.
Yes, Valencia, we go with that. Grit or grace? Grit or grace?
Grace.
Sol Campbell or The Rock?
Or the what?
The Rock.
The Rock.
There it is. You have it. Well done. Right. So Sol, you're a startup founder now. It's very challenging and it's very inspiring. But why starting something where you could be an investor and chilling at home?
You know what? I think for me, I had this idea several years ago. Well, not several, about 2-3 years ago. And I felt there has to be more to coaching. I've been in football for a very, very long time. I've seen how scouting, how coaching, how players rise and fall. Some of them start off, not really pulling many trees up, but then in the end they have a wonderful career, and vice versa. But one thing I feel that coaching mixed with AI, mixed with some type of analyst, that's the future. Because there's so many players that fall by the wayside, because many coaches out there have the ability for 11, 12, 13 players. They're concentrating on that squad. Even they might have 20, 22, 25 players. 3 keepers go up, but then you've got 8, 9, 10 players just falling by the wayside, trying to push into the first 11. But really not being concentrated on, and no one's really helping them. And that's how some players drift off, slip away, and never get seen again, and they drop down, or they come out of football completely. Or they're forever just not making the grade and making that jump. And I've seen that, because I've been together with players on my side. They're being left alone, but I said, hey, they've got something about them, but the manager's not really concentrating on them. And then they drop and drop and drop, and then they come out of the game. Or just drop down and just forget about football and move on. For me, this is all about capturing those players around the world who don't have that coach.
Well, it's going to be a very rocky road, right? Entrepreneurship is not going to be easy.
What's up?
Entrepreneurship is not going to be easy.
It's not easy.
Right?
I've not had an easy life. Raised in East London, rough part of London. I had to kind of fight for everything I have. I had to be clever. I had to be smart. But also I have to be balanced as well. You have to understand, sometimes you got to disagree to agree. I understand that. Being a captain of my country, of clubs, I understand how to manage things. I understand things go wrong and like that. So you got to kind of have all those kind of things and you can transfer all those things I've learned into, entrepreneurship and being a founder. Yeah, it's not easy. Nothing's easy in life.
Nothing is easy.
Yeah.
So where do you see the crossover between entrepreneurship and football? There's team playing, there's running fast, there's a competition, and a lot of pressure. What do they have in common, entrepreneurship and football?
Pressure for sure, because sometimes, if you get funding or you're looking for funding and you want to get started, there's pressure there, because you need to get started. You don't want to miss your kind of slot. Running fast is good, but sometimes running too fast before you've got everything in place is no good, because you haven't got a foundation. So there is different areas that cross over that you have to be mindful, you have to be understanding. And I think for me, you have to also have that ambition. I've always had that ambition. I've always wanted to think outside the box. And I think sometimes as an entrepreneur, you need to do that. You need to dream big as well. You can't always have your amazing ideas. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes it's horses for courses. Sometimes the environment doesn't allow you to think big. But if you can, keep on stretching yourself. That's what it's all about. Or you get people around you, surrounding you, can push you as well in a positive way.
Right. So in a sport, you face losses and wins, right? A lot of startups actually don't go the way they're supposed to, and the founders face failures. How do you actually face failures and setback, in your opinion?
I think for me, I've had some amazing highs, and I've had some kind of lows that most players probably wouldn't recover from. So, I've had a lot of stuff thrown at me. I've had to dig myself out of holes. I had to, almost not reinvent yourself, just go back to basics. And that's what sometimes you have to do as an entrepreneur, as a founder. If you do get a situation that you hit the wall and it's crumbling around you, sometimes you have to go back to basics. I think that's a cool thing to do. And sometimes you've got to let your ego go and say, do you know what, I have to start again. And maybe I can kind of start again and not miss the things I missed, as I, climbed the steps or up the ladder. and I won't miss them next time. And you should learn. Every time you make a mistake, I think you learn, you know. If you don't learn, that's a big problem. But every time you make a mistake, I think you've got to learn as individual and as a team.
So what you're normalizing here actually is starting all over again. There's no problem to fail, but the culture should be starting all over again.
Yeah, I think you have to start. Sometimes it's not going to work out. I think you've got to have that in your back of your mind, to always be careful that, yeah, if it's going well, it's going great. But you always got to be conscious and not be arrogant and understand it's going to be okay. That's why some companies, the meteoric, they grow into unbelievable, but they forget their roots. And sometimes that's how they fail, 4, 5 years, 10 years down the line, because they forget, what got them there. And I think for me, I've understood that, and you should understand that as an individual, as a team, as a company, that what got you there sometimes are the best things that keep you there as long as possible.
Beautiful. You may have seen a transformation in personal experiences, from queuing up behind the stadium doors to a digital phantom. Do you think the new generation, Gen Z generation, are they thriving for a physical experience as they used to? Or VR, XR will give them the same buzz?
I think in the end, what people will want now is the real experience now. I think, don't get me wrong, technology has moved us as human beings on incredible, right? I've spent some time in Silicon Valley, and I've seen a lot what is going on there, and it's incredible at various companies, gigantic companies, and you can see where it's going. But I think for me, no, I think the realness is there. I think the human being craves it. I think you look at, say the lockdown, and look at Zoom. Everyone thought, okay, we're all going to be Zoom and things like that. Then in the end, you feel that, oh, I actually want to meet out. I want to go for a drink. I want to eat, and I want to talk to my friends and things like that outside. I want to meet people outside. I don't want to be locked up and kind of away on a screen. I think the human beings, that's how we've evolved.
Human interaction will remain.
That's a natural DNA. We love to kind of be together. We love to kind of communicate. And that's collaboration. That's where most of the problems are going to be solved, with collaboration. Not just by yourself and your own little team. You've got to step out and collaborate. And that's the best way.
So you believe, human interaction would remain despite what's happening with AI and all the buzz around us?
I think some things will go, for sure, but then other things will, you still need that human connection, that human attraction. I think you need that. I think you need that as to stay sane. For humanity.
Right? You did have a title, a nickname called D-Rock, right? You've also been very vocal about inequality in sport. Do you really think this will change the inequality in sport and give access to underprivileged kids?
I think this is going to be
I'm sure you believe in your product, but do you actually see this will face, what's out there?
This will be the new way. Eventually, this will be the new way of coaching mass on mass. And it will help coaches to help them to, if they're under pressure with members or other coaches, you'll be able to have 2 people coaching, and you'll be able to coach, say, 40, 50 kids, and they have a system helping out the rest of the players, and they'll be able to come across, talk, evaluate, go back, and that's what it's all about. Or you could be in India, and you could be taking a video of a player, and you can be saying, okay, what's happening here, and you can track and web, say, someone in Calcutta, Delhi, Mumbai, go in the south, and then you can collect them in the web and see if they are training properly, because they haven't got proper coaches. But if you've got somewhere who can actually control them on a kind of a video AI predicting the movements and making sure they hit all the targets, and then I think put in a web, I think you can easily do that. That's where it really helps, it really stretches, really moves the coaches. And at the same time, the coaches are learning as well. The players are learning, the up-and-coming players are learning, the coaches are learning. It's great. It might flip to differently when it goes to America. They might use it in a different way. But the main thing is a tool that you can use in different ways and build a community at the same time. Everyone wants to be a part of a community. And this Global 360 will help. There will be, in 10 years' time, there'll be other companies doing this for sure. Because this is the way it's going. The numbers are astronomical. and the first of football is second to none. This will drop into other sports as well, so there's flexibility,
Right.
but this is all about getting football right for the men's game and the women's game, and then we can move on.
Seriously, that deserves a round of applause. Who else actually do you believe can join the race? Is this working?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it again. Who do you think can join the race in this impactful mission with you?
I think there's probably gaming companies, because they have a lot of access already.
With that question, I'm trying to spark some ideas in the startups. So let's go with that.
You want gaming or you want
Both, like whatever, like who can join the race?
gaming companies for sure?
Okay.
Because they've got a lot of data with the football and movements and things like that and the imagery. They would definitely be, easy because they've got, years and years of data and data points. So that can easily be, morphed in or transferred into predictive movements and things like that. So yeah, for sure. Digital companies as well, entrepreneur, analysts who's studying football and got their data, they can kind of, join the race as well. It's just really getting a team and everything in the right position, because this is big, but once you get to a certain level, you've got to make sure your foundation is solid. But entrepreneur in somewhere in Lisbon, somewhere in Taiwan or whatever, or somewhere in LA can definitely help for sure. But I think there is the big
Valencia,
market.
right?
And Valencia, I know Valencia is amazing and it's got a great startup going on here, so it's magnificent. But I think one of probably the ones that might have a head start is definitely the gaming companies.
Right. And how about clubs? Do you think they will have a role in this? Okay, hold on. Can you hear me? Right. Well, how about clubs? The Premier Leagues. Do you think they actually can change? Thank you. Right. Okay. So let's start again. How about clubs? Do you think they play a role into this?
I think with clubs, I think they will see. Some will jump on it. Others will see how it goes. Depending how and which club and which country, depends what the government or that particular owner or people around that club. I think it's going to be see how it goes and jump in earlier on. I think for me, parents are a big thing. I think coaches are a big thing as well. And I think really individual players who are in the professional game who want to have some extra training and low-key training and nobody knows they're using it, I think that's probably something for them, for sure. But I think clubs will come on board later on down the line.
Perfect. Who inspired you the most when you started your journey?
For this project?
No, before your football game.
I think for me, I was playing. I'm from the streets, streets of East London, playing football every day, kicking a can up and down the road to, my mum and dad is just moaning because I'm, trashing my trainers within 2 weeks. I just loved it. I think for me, I love watching England. I love watching, some of the great games, Brazil and, Spain. I love international football. I love international football because it just gave me that romance of like playing another country. I don't know anything about that country, but I'm watching these players, the best players of that country play our best players of our country. And I love that clash. I love that kind of ability to kind of, move around the world and play for a European Cup or the World Cup. Or, I really enjoyed that whole process. So I think those kind of, international games really inspired me because it made me so proud to kind of watch, not only for me eventually to play for England, but how proud the other players felt to play for the country as well. And I love that kind of competition and also competing.
We're going to put a picture up.
Oh my God, what's this?
We kindly asked a tech team to help us with putting a picture up. I actually did that yesterday.
This one? I don't know.
It's going to come up now. Right, we need a few seconds. But what I'm trying to, there's a tagline to this. The game have changed your life, the games. And this is the picture. So, what does this picture remind you of? And winning a game or celebrating a peak of your career?
This picture is, for me, it's like almost.
Sorry, he's just slowing down. He's going deep in his memories
Yeah,
and
maybe
having
I'm
fun.
going a bit too deep. There's emotion here because it's a deep thing for me, because for me to access and win this Premier League, I had to sacrifice a hell of a lot. I left a rival football club to access this club, Arsenal, and it caused a massive stir in London, in England, in North London, and I had to take a lot of criticism, a lot of hatred, but then there was joy at the same time, and passion, and to win this in I think it's my first year, under severe pressure. I think time has softened people's memories, but for me to access that, to win that, it took a monumental, tremendous amount of courage on my part, and to sacrifice myself for football to win that. And that's what it reminds me of.
Take time back to this picture. Would you have continued playing in the field, or start what you started now?
What, continue playing football?
Yep, or starting what you started now?
What, end the career or beginning of my career?
Just starting your company.
I think I've had both. I think I've enjoyed myself and my ups and downs in football, and there's some great times. I mean, this where I am now is perfect. I used to study information technology when I was at school.
Oh, really?
And design and realization. So I was into computers way before. I had to stop for 20 years. I had another job to do, but I've got the passion for computers, designing. I could have gone to university with my degrees, or so my passes and at school, but I'm back into it. This is where I want to be now, because I think with technology it's colorblind, and I think as long as you come up with a great idea and you make it work, and then the market and you push it into the market and it solves a problem, and you get the feedback and it works, or it doesn't work and you go again. I think for me, that's where I am now. That's where I can put my effort in, and I want to move the needle. One of the things when I was studying at Harvard, is one of the professors said, move the needle. If you're going into something, move the needle. And this Global 360 will definitely move the needle when it comes to coaching and just monetizing and bringing in video images of players around the world who try to get better. And also, it will go into other sports. So that, for me, is definitely moving the needle.
Great. Again, going back to diversifying a team, you have your co-founder here who traveled miles to be here. He's in the crowd. Do you believe actually diversifying the team and having different geographical presence would be also the future? Or no, you want everybody in the house and you want to work with everybody and you want to see them every day? Again, I'm talking about the future of work and the vision you have in the team expansion.
I think sometimes you can't choose where the people who come into your business, who care about the business, who want the business to thrive, to succeed. Sometimes you can't. I'm not saying beggars can be choosy, but sometimes you can't pick and choose, where these people come from. And I think the main thing is having that consistency, that the same mentality. I think that's the key for me. And it might be 10 hours from London, I get it, but if yes, it'd be nice if everyone is in the same spot. And I think once you grow, you can have, not multiple, but a few places. But as long as everybody's on the same page, everybody's communicating, everybody wants the will to succeed, and you've got different people in different areas to kind of, balance the whole company. Sometimes you just can't get that all in London. That's the way it is. I have to, go to Kazakhstan. I have to go back into central kind of Europe. I don't mind. I think being an international footballer, I think is kind of, I'm relaxed in the sense that I've traveled around the world. I've played against different players in different countries around the world, and I'm quite comfortable with that. As long as communication you on the phone or your emails or Zoom calls, I think that's more than enough. But I think you have to meet up quite frequently and make time, I think that definitely helps to kind of face-to-face, have a dinner, talk about problems, and you can get a lot done, a lot of brainstorming. So I do that now, and I love traveling anyway, so I'm happy to move around. But you're very lucky if everyone is in the same spot. You're very lucky. But then you just have to be flexible.
What does your family say? 20 years of traveling and you start again?
No, I travel a lot with.
Let's not stream this.
No, I think you gotta definitely manage that with the kids, and they play high-level tennis, and I've got to take them abroad as well. But as I said, there's a lot of avenues, a lot of platforms you can talk. But as long as you make time and you make 2-3 days, you meet together and you discuss things. I think as long as you keep that communication lines open, I think it's really key.
If you want any help from this crowd, there are fantastic entrepreneurs, startups, sports enthusiasts. How can they help you? How can they help the mission more than you as an individual?
Well, I think the main thing is I'm just looking for really good people in good positions. I think that's what it's all about. Obviously, there's a love of sports. That's one of the main things. I mean, you don't have to love football, but I think you've got to have some type of passion in sport and movements. There's other areas that we'll need down the line, but I think for me, I'm open for all ears. I'm here. We want to solve problems. We're building. We're looking to close in a couple of months with funding.
Investors?
Yeah, there's investors. So everyone can be a part of it. If you want to know more, you can come up and talk to me. We've got my co-founder here as well. So I think the main thing is this is Global 360 is the future of coaching. And the trouble is, I've seen the gaps. There's a few more gaps in sports and football, but this is one gap that is gaping and it needs to be filled. And in years to come, people will say, well, why did that take so long for that to come round? I mean, yeah, it does. You do need a technology, and you need the right people to execute. And I've got that here. But people will look back and say, why didn't we do this earlier?
We are nearing the end. And this is not reflecting any age or anything. It's more actually what you have experienced. A word of wisdom. As a defender, you are trained to expect the unexpected. How can a founder do the same? And how they can prepare for what they cannot predict?
I think I used to say to myself, I used to say some words before I went out to play football. And one of the things I would say, expect the unexpected. But then I knew that someone could do a deflection, hit someone's back of his head or back of his heel, flick somewhere else, and it goes in. And sometimes you gotta take that. Sometimes there's things you cannot control, and you'll never control it. And you can only control how you are, how you approach, how you've looked after yourself, you trained that wig, you've got plenty of rest, and you're ready, you're focused, you've not done stupid things to kind of drain your mentality, your concentration level, and those are the things you can control. I think you've got to say to yourself, there's some things you'll never control, but try to be prepared, just in case. And if the S hits the fan, then you go again. I think that's the way to do it. You got to fight, you got to keep going, you got to be clever, you got to be nimble, you got to be balanced, you got to be tough, you got to be ruthless, you got to be all sorts of things as a founder. But the main thing is you've got to believe and love what you're doing.
Brilliant. You didn't say competition.
Compete. I love competing.
How much do you believe in competition? How much do you believe in competition?
Competition in football or competition in this world?
Look at the kind of entrepreneurship more.
I think there's competition everywhere in life.
And does it come with elbowing each other, or no, healthy competition, it's the key?
No, I think collaboration.
More than competition?
No, I think you need a competition to spur you on. But I think you need to understand sometimes you can collaborate with people who are competing with you. I think that's normal. I think you can't have, unless it's Secret Service and you want some ideas and things like that, and you've got China and America. Yeah, I understand that you don't want to share ideas, but yeah, this is I'm giving this to kind of allow coaching from around the world. I think, yeah, sometimes you want to keep the evidence and keep all your knowledge to yourself and be the only ones in town. I get that, but in the end, someone else is going to work it out and be your competition partner. And I think it's good to have that. You're good to push each other. That's how for me, that's how in a football team, you have that friendly competition within the squad. You need that kind of competition to spur on players so people are on their toes or some of the players don't become too relaxed and too complacent. You need competition. If you haven't got competition, sometimes you forget where you are and you slip. You start slipping, you don't know you're slipping.
How do you acknowledge actually when you're sleeping? Like you're actually not doing it right?
Probably revenues are going down and people are leaving, I don't know. Probably the same thing, or you're not winning. And then I think sometimes you need that competition to show you, where you are. And then also you need someone else coming in to say, hey, you've done really well, but there's more to come. I think you've got to be ambitious. And I've always been an ambitious kind of guy, even from a little boy. I'm from East London, rough place. No one's in my family has kind of, done amazing things in their lives. And I have no playbook, so I had to make my own playbook. I had to fight for everything, be clever, be smart, work really extremely hard. And all these kind of things, all these traits will go will transfer into building this platform and making it a success.
20-second final statement to entrepreneurs and founders in the room.
In what way? I think keep on believing that your ideas are gonna make it. I think that's the best thing, really. And find the right people in the right positions and collaborate. I mean, collaboration is definitely the way forward for solving majority of problems on this planet.
Collaboration is the key. Sol Campbell, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you. We've checked.